No. Welcome to the Family Pictures Podcast. I'm medical Branson Smith, in live with
Jim Groom.
We are actually, Jim is in the United States. Wow. And
where are we? Where are we delivering this from?
What
is this called?
This is my home in New Paltz, New York, and Jim is here after almost dying in his trip to Portland. We're not going to tell that story.
I almost died.
He really did.
Truly.
And
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and we're after a couple week hiatus. We're back to consider our Home Invader series with 1 Hour Photo, the 2002 film, directed by Mark Romanek, who
Romanek?
Yeah, really? he hasn't done a lot. He tried to get a lot done.
He's got a lot of failed projects.
Yeah, but this one is not a failure. It's a Robin Williams vehicle, if you want to call it something stupid like that, where he does not play the type. Robin Williams at this point has successfully done Good Will Hunting, which got him his Academy Award at this point, nominated a number of other times. So he had already drifted into...
I think he did Insomnia already, too. He had done Insomnia for, what's his name?
Nolan.
Nolan, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so he was already known as a dramatic actor, but it was still, he was playing the good guy. And this one is very much, we're going to be talking about whether he's a very, supposed to be a very sympathetic character. And he's playing Cy Parrish, who is... long time, what is the phrase for it? SBO, was it? Or a photo lab guy, like instant photo. This is an era when people were still taking film to outlets to have their film developed, and machines would generate these pictures for them very quickly. Yeah,
this is the photo lab era. And he seemed to have that job for 20 years, which suggests it was a generation of, 1 hour photo.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of surprised by.
Wait, what's your experience with photos? Did you take, what were your rolls of film that you would bring?
I would bring AGFA rolls of film that I'd taken, and I got in a fight with Manhattan, right near the grad center, actually, where we come through CUNY. That's one of our other
for those that might know, the grad center is actually next to a very better known landmark called the Empire State Building.
But this is when the grad center was on 42nd Street near the New York Public Library. But anyway, I went in and I brought film in, and they developed it. But as Manhattan is, they were it's $100 for 2 rolls of film. I was like, what? So I got there. I'm like, I don't want the film. Keep it. So I never took it.
What were the pictures of? Do you even know?
They were probably of, I would want to say my kids. They might have been 2004. Might have been Miles and Antonella.
So you have baby photos that are abandoned.
I couldn't afford it. I was a grad student.
You abandoned your children.
And there's someone who has them on their wall, plastered.
Yeah, so that's the story here, is the portrait of family through photos. Wait, don't you have a photo over there?
Well, actually, Michael, I'm kind of the home invader now.
Yes.
I've come into your house. I've invaded, and I just wanted to let you know that I found one of your beautiful family portraits. Oh,
wait, but this is real, right?
It is real.
That's my wife and my beautiful kid. This is not your wife.
This is not your beautiful wife. I took that. I'm taking it back to Italy.
No, you can't have Amanda.
And the kids.
Yeah, B would not say yes. Why? You never know. He thinks you're fun and charming, so you never know.
No, I probably won't. Yeah. That's my home invader attempt.
So we kind of tried to look at the production notes for this film. There's not a lot. Because, one of the reasons is Mark Romanek made only 3 other movies, I think, or 2.
Yeah, 2 other movies.
Directed a few TV roles, and then it's this litany of unrealized projects. So that's kind of sad. We don't know the story behind that at all.
We don't know.
But the one space of production notes that are important to mention in the context of the film is it was from robinwilliams.net, which I don't know if it's his estate that manages that site, so we don't know. But it actually had innumerable quotes from the Romanek and all the major actors, obviously Robin Williams, Michael Vartan, who plays Will Yorkin, and Connie Nielsen, who plays Nina Yorkin, the mother and father, or the husband and wife that are the titular family that Robin Williams Cy obsesses over. But what they talked a lot about, and this is going to become important, we're going to litigate this throughout this episode, is how they appreciated, because Mark Romanek wrote and directed this film.
That's correct.
And it was actually quite successful. It was like, it was some like to say, it's like, this is a modest, like, stretch double or something like that. I don't know. It was $12 million film that made $52 million. But this was an era when we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And blockbuster movies are really starting to hit their stride.
Yeah, we're starting to see the really big. You said IP films, which I think is right. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. Yep. The Marvel start to kind of blow up.
Yeah, Spider-Man came out.
Right. So this is the kind of beginning of a new era of box office.
Yeah.
Billion-dollar movies.
Yeah, and that's
near billion-dollar movies.
And all the energy of the theater, of the production houses, like the classic. This actually premiered at Sundance too. Yep. So it was seen as an indie film from the beginning, even though it was distributed by like Fox Searchlight, which is their indie brand, I think. Anyway, and so. But what's important is all the quotes were a lot about Mark Romanek's writing around Cy being this empathetic character. And we're going to talk a lot about that in the context of this. He's this single man who lives a very lonely life, and he obsesses over the Yorkin family through pictures. And we're going to talk about how that plays out. And, they also talk a lot about how Robin Williams brought this really empathetic perspective, which is not surprising. He's like incredibly humane as an actor and a darling that sadly we lost to suicide in the context of, I didn't know this either, that he was quite sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into that, which
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, right. Because he was quoted by his wife as saying, "I wish I could reboot my brain." So he was suffering when he made that choice. But he's I'm a Mork and Mindy kind of kid.
Yeah, Robin Williams is, if you're of our age, he's a staple throughout your life.
Right.
And so when we lost Robin Williams, it was kind of strange because it was like losing a staple of that it would be like losing Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Or it was like that
Bill
much
Murray,
of a staple, right?
Yeah.
Of your kind of entertainment world.
Right.
But he kind of obviously did the comedy, but he had range, as many comic actors did, that moved beyond that. And he could do the dramatic stuff really well. And I think this is a great example of that. This movie, he really steps up to it. And all this discussion about him being empathetic and this character being empathetic, I think Robin Williams makes possible.
Yeah.
But what that means is something I think we need to talk about in relationship to the other two films we watched. In particular, Fatal Attraction, not the most empathetic villain in that one with Glenn Close, and then The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. The Cradle. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Not to be confused with The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
With Rebecca De Mornay, who was also, and so we're kind of interested in this, like, Rebecca De Mornay's character, where she's kind of like truly on a revenge plot.
Yeah.
Is still, there's no real sympathy needed for her necessarily, even though her husband kills himself, which leads to her demise financially and loses her baby. So she is under an enormous amount of stress from that. But she does insert herself in this family for really diabolical reasons. So her being murdered in the end is seemingly justified. But the Glenn Close character, who has an affair with the Michael Douglas character, and then just becomes a pushy, jilted lover, if you will. And she says she's pregnant and still tries to, and we don't know the truth of that necessarily, if you want to believe her or not. I mean, retrospectively, she's seen maybe as a more sympathetic character, but at the time, you like to talk about it because I brought it up.
Yeah, she was a rabbit boiler.
The bunny boiler.
The bunny boiler.
And so anybody that became a meme of like anybody that was like a crazy girlfriend was a bunny boiler.
I mean, Fatal Attraction, just when you say it's Fatal Attraction, a relationship, like immediately you think of Glenn Close.
Right. And so
like that movie.
And so we're kind of interested in the fact that the Robin Williams character, because we're going to get to it, but it's kind of a bloodless story other than the blood coming out of his eyes and his dreams, which is kind of bizarre.
Agreed.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of like fantasies that this character has about inserting himself in the in the Yorkin family that are important and interesting, actually.
Yeah. But I mean, the question of empathy is a good one. And I think we should look at that.
Yeah.
So how does this movie start?
So it starts with the Yorkin family birthday for Jake, who's probably turning like 10. Was he turning 10?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, in the backyard, but it's introduced through photographs, right?
Yeah.
And 9. He's turning 9.
Yep.
And so, and I think this, does the side character monologue during that birthday? I can't remember.
He does talk about, because that's the whole thing where it says we don't take pictures of the moments we want to forget.
Right.
And he's looking at all the pictures being taken of the birthday party when people are saying, get together, put on your hat, right?
Yeah.
And he's monologuing through that. Yeah.
Right. And he's talking about weddings, birthdays, Halloween, holidays, Christmas, and stuff like that. And so a big part of this film is also this idea of the image of a family, literally through an image of the camera. And that's something that's easy to talk about today in the world of social media too. And we're going to be talking a bit about that too, I think.
Sure.
And so it starts it starts with this vision of a beautiful, perfect family.
That's right. And the key piece, and I found this pretty compelling, at least early on, is those photos in 2001, 2002 needed to be developed, right? This was all 35 millimeter film. And so what you have on the other side of that party is the mother, who is played by Connie Nielsen. Her name's Nina Yorkin.
Yeah, Nina and Will, yeah.
Nina brings them to the local
Save Mart,
right? A Target.
It's basically a Walmart. It's Save Mart is a proxy for Walmart, and even the palette is the same. It's white and light blue,
right? And so you start to see, that's a place where you would go, and I'm sure many people out there who were watching did do this. They did bring film to one of those big box stores and maybe get it developed. Or they rented VHS tapes from there. There was always these interstitial spaces. They did everything, right?
They were trying to take over every small possible transactional, consumerist space they could.
You do it all at the Walmart. You do it all at the box store. And that was
why go to the grocery store? You can get your, pork chops in aisle 6.
It was interesting too, when they also took over groceries, right? It was nothing you couldn't do.
No.
And I think what we have here is, you give these precious memories to someone to develop. And that someone in this case is Cy, who's played by Robin Williams, who takes his job very seriously.
Yeah, he says, I process these photos as if they were my own. And so he's kind of an ironic character in that context of most people working in a big box store know what they are. They're just, they're a paycheck to this company. That corporation's massive. And typically, as a result, the service given / received in that context is much more transactional.
Yeah.
But Cy sees it as more than that. We've already mentioned he's done this business for 20 years. It was a point of sale that I think kind of was the name of his job. I've done point of sale, photo development for 20 years.
That's right. And it's interesting, and you bring this up, and it's something I think came up in our notes, is that transactional nature of these box stores is super interesting because there's a double logic to it. There's the logic that you as the consumer go in there and you have this intimate relationship to all these things, right? You're buying your kids' toys. There's this connection to the objects and to that experience. On the other side, the people who work in those stores need to necessarily be objects too. They need to purely be transactional. There's no sense of service other than purely transactional, right?
Yeah.
There's not getting to know you. Once they know your name, once they talk to you, Cy knows their address, which seems really weird.
Yeah. Well, that's what the artifacts of that era, some of them are so fun. You would literally fill out an envelope and it would have, and you would put your name and your address, and you would not even prepay, because there's a story Jim's going to tell later about this, not prepaying for his family photos that he does not have because he did not prepay. Otherwise, he never would have given the film over in the first place. And they would stuff your little rolls, these little plastic cartridges with the film inside that have been exposed, and you put it in the envelope, and then they would tear off this ticket they give you, and that was your receipt, then you'd have to have it to get your pictures back because it had a number assigned, blah blah blah. Right.
And there was also the envelope within the envelope,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I thought was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And so Cy he knows everyone. And when Nina Yorkin walks up and he sees his associate Yoshi, who also works in the photo booth with him, development department, he immediately pops up and runs out to take over her service. And he's asking, oh, what's going on? Like, he wants to know what's going on in his family. So very early we realize like Cy has a deep emotional connection to this family. Even though he later on tells this really wonderful montage story about all the different types of people,
Yes.
And it's really great.
That is great.
Yeah.
Like, you see all the different people he knows,
right.
and what pictures they bring.
Yeah, like there's an insurance adjuster that has all the photos of all the damaged like cars, and he's like, I need this like now, I need it tomorrow. Like, he's like, and then you have the tired dads who are getting more and more photos of their babies.
That was me.
Yeah.
All this film that they wanted to develop. And then you have like the amateur porn who's all like embarrassed.
I know, and he's just like, take this. You know, he's like, I'm gesturing, like looking away as I'm giving you my film, because I know you're going to know that you know that I know that there's naked people on these
exactly.
clips. And they talk about, even like, for the most part, they don't care.
No,
unless
as
it's
long
like
as there's no nude children.
Or pedophilia going on. Yeah,
there you go.
So that's the only red flag that even corporate cares about.
But it was super interesting, though, just to remember, and it's kind of, you begin to kind of elide it, but there are people who actually see those memories in the processing of it. Because this is a moment, 2001, 2002, where a lot of those pictures were still private.
Yeah.
You shared them with your family, you shared them with your friends. You didn't share them online yet. Places like Flickr, places like Facebook, they didn't exist.
Yeah, and I remember always wondering, like, would they keep like a copy for themselves of this or that photo, those people processing?
And your worst nightmare, this movie kind of realizes it. Like, here they are with copies of your most intimate memories.
Right, because as part of the ordering process, Nina says, I want 2 sets, right? So ideally you get the sense it's like, oh, some are for us, and then maybe to give out to like parents of your grandparents and stuff like that, or whatever. Maybe so Will can take some to work, things like that, and populate his desk with his family, because that's what should matter, Jim Groom. Will should focus on what he has.
We'll deal with Will.
Yeah. But what happens is, early like red flag is he writes 3.
Yeah.
And there's an extra set being made, which brings us to, like, we enter, it's the end of the day and Cy heads home. And it's very important because there's going to be this important contrast in home life. So we have this beautiful family in this beautiful modern home that's actually very warm and colorful. It's like these warm woods.
Yeah.
It's not your classic like 2020s, 2015 modern home that's white. Or we even said it like in the Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Rebecca De Mornay's house is your more classic, like, modern home. Everything's stark white.
Very minimalist.
Yeah. But this is not like that at all. It's like, Will's a designer, and he's an industrial designer. He has this beautiful G4 Mac. Like, I love that G4 Mac monitor.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's really cozy. Reminded me of, like, the opening scene of
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, where Michael Douglas is in his like tidy whities doing his lawyerly work on his laptop, like he's like, just, it's paper because it's not laptops. It's like the 90s.
Not 88.
And his daughter's watching TV, and it's super cozy, and there's lots of plants and stuff like that.
Headphones on.
Yeah, and so similarly, it's like that. Very upper middle class, wealthy, beautiful house, very warm. But Cy heads home, and what's his space like?
Cy, I mean, coming from where he works, which is completely, sterile, fluorescent lit, completely white, he goes home and it's more of the same, right? His clothes are all like beige whited out. His house is barely furnished.
No, and he literally has 1 plate, 1 bowl, 2 glasses, a fork, and in the dishwasher, the dish drying tray next to the sink. His stove is just a classic, banal coiled electric, stove.
It's like my 21-year-old son's apartment in Milan right now.
Yeah,
just completely depressed.
But it's perfectly clean. It's like spick and span. Everything you get a sense is perfectly functional in its place, and that's a big part of this projection of this single man, and I called him the monochromatic single man.
Yeah.
And it's very much that, but until he finally sits down to watch a little bit of The Simpsons.
Yeah, which is great. He's
Yeah.
watching The Simpsons,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother family.
Another layer
we
of
should
family.
probably talk about, right?
Yeah. And he's watching The Simpsons in his recliner, the one piece of furniture in the living room along with his TV. But then the camera slowly pans to reveal these two industrial lamps.
Yeah.
That,
like painter lamps.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. And you have a wall full of photos.
This very precisely placed tiling of the family photos of the Yorkins.
Yeah, it's just that family, you
realize. Just
realize.
that family. And it immediately goes into this montage of all these pictures of this perfect family.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, oh, they're at the beach. And it goes through their lives. Like,
True.
She's pregnant. Oh, they have their first baby. Oh, now Jake's 2.
They're throwing the baby in the air, right?
Yeah. They're at the beach. They're on vacation, and maybe I think there might have even them buying the home or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that was in there somehow too. And it's like this curated, perfect life. And this is something I think is very much like of the now too. It's talked about a lot in the context of social media and Instagram and this kind of cultured performance of life that exists out there in internet culture. And I mean, this is before that even happened. And so it's kind of interesting in that context to think about.
And I think you're right. This movie kind of sees that, and it sees it early, and it kind of sees the idea of, you always curate your life through photos, even before social media. He says you don't take pictures of the things that you don't want to remember.
Yeah.
You want to take pictures of things that when you were happy or of occasions, right? And so if you look at someone's photo album or the book, it's not going to be very telling of the whole life. And that's one of Cy's real pet peeves, I think.
Yeah. And he also goes on this monologue of talking about he knows these aren't real pictures at the same time, which is really interesting because he talks about most people don't take snapshots of the little things, the used Band-Aid, the guy at the gas station, the wasp on the Jell-O.
Which is a weird one.
These are the true pictures. But people don't take pictures of these things. And this becomes a very important, to him, that is real life. And we're going to talk, because this comes up in a couple points of what he sees as what's real life, which is really sad. He's trying to project himself into this family. But before we get of how he literally projects himself through families, we actually it's revealed what the Yorkin family situation really is.
Yeah, it's interesting because, it is a perfect family, and you look at it, and this is what Hollywood does so well. I particularly with families, like when you see the inside of a house and you fall in love with the family often, like I think this movie is trying to suggest, through the things that they surround themselves with, right?
Right.
This beautiful kitchen, this kind of mid-century gorgeous house, but also the kids' room is full of toys. And so
he's got a game system.
Exactly. A virtual fighter.
Oh man, I totally had a friend, a wealthy family friend. We weren't very close. I remember going in his bedroom, and he had these toys, these figurines that were figurines I'd never seen before. They were from Japan or something. They were super dense and cool. And I was like, this shit's the best fucking toys I've ever got to play with in my life. And this kid had that kind of room.
Yeah, exactly. Like a room out of a movie, right? You would really say that. And so this movie really did that well with this house. But there is trouble in Denmark, right? Something's rotten in Denmark. And the problem is from what I understand, right, the husband is a little emotionally unavailable.
Right. And he plays this out by resenting Nina's his wife's consumerism. And he says, if you continue to want our life to look like something out of a magazine, which he would now say out of Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
I have to work to make that happen, Jim Groom. You were putting too much pressure on me in this podcast.
Antonella, I didn't say this. This
to be seen. So
we've all been there.
He suddenly goes into this moment. it's interesting because it's not set up at all, because they're literally a moment
it's
before.
a surprise. Exactly.
Yeah, they're looking at the family photos together, and she does something that's not unusual at all. She finds this photo of herself that's like an unintentional close-up, and she hates the photo of herself, so she tears it up, which is totally normal, actually. I think people hate photos of themselves all the time. And they seem super happy and connected, and Nina puts Jake to bed, and I think
Jake's really empathetic for
Cy. He's like, because Nina's noticing, what's wrong, Jake?
Yeah.
And he says, there's someone who's really sad, and she thinks he's talking about maybe friends or something. But he says, no, Cy, he looks really lonely. So there is this like, oh, this kid gets it. Like he's got some empathy, and he sees, people that are struggling.
There are little light touches like daddy has to work, daddy can't come to your game.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit, but you're not ready for the explosion that's about to happen.
He just like goes at her hard and like
hard.
That
$200 blouse you
have
on.
He names it. Well, it's funny. I didn't write it down, but he names a brand. So I look it up, and I was like, wow, those blouses are like $700.
It was like Jill Benson or something like that.
Yeah,
you wrote it down.
I did, but what use is writing it down if you can't find it? Anyway, but then she just goes back at him super hard and calls him emotionally neglectful husband.
She does.
And father, and then he's like, fucking neglectful. And that actually seemed very realistic,
It did. Like, it got bad quick. And you're like, oh. And then she walks out and she's super sad.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, so this kind of Hollywood house is hiding a little bit of, sadness.
Yeah. It's not quite dysfunction yet. And it's sad because they literally do the classic, like, Jake's actually awake and he's listening to fight. And it's kind of like, this film is ultimately kind of tropey in that regard.
It's very, the film is tropey.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. Robin Williams makes this film.
Yeah, he does.
He makes it. And everything else around it kind of just like a series of planets revolving around the sun. He's the sun.
Yeah.
And everything is about his performance.
Right. But so we are realizing that, not surprising that the portrait of this family through these images is a bit of a performance. It's not real. And
the problem I have a little bit with that, Michael, is it's like beat it over the head.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, make my essay point. It's a lot. It's like, I understand where you're going with this. Representation, photos, that's not reality, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But it felt like a little bit essayistic.
Yeah. And but the way it does feel real is like, probably we should get to them now, is like Cy's fantasies. The way he imagines himself and inserting himself into the lives of the Yorkins through these kind of fantastical moments. The first are like really real normal, like where the first one is simple. It's after work. He's taking that third set of photos home with him.
Yeah.
And he stops at the diner for dinner.
Yeah.
Where you get a sense he's a regular because he's very familiar with the waitress, and he's looking through the photographs. And she's like, oh, is that your family? Can I have a look? And he's like, yeah, I'm their uncle, Uncle Cy.
Uncle Cy.
And so that's kind of the first like insertion in the film. And he's willing to play that role and be part of the family that way.
Kind of like Rebecca De Mornay does with the kid when she's walking up.
Right. Very similar. Yeah. When someone mistakes it, oh, he has your eyes.
Exactly. Like, kind of like, oh, I'm going to insinuate myself, and you start to realize this character's off.
Right. And then probably my favorite one is, I think it's the next day, and he's at work and he's on his lunch break. And this is going to lead to kind of the conversation about the big box culture too a bit. Yeah. We're going to go back to what we started. He's on his lunch break, and he has a Christmas photo of the Yorkin family, and they're in front of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And it starts in this one's actually pretty cool visually too, is the Christmas lights start to twinkle in the image.
That's great.
And the snow starts to come down in the image behind it too. But then it suddenly pans the image, and it pans to Robin Williams, Cy, holding up a sweater that he's got, and Uncle Si got for Christmas.
Uncle Si's on the couch during Christmas.
Yeah, he's right there. He's part of the family.
And it is great. It's like an animated GIF that comes alive
exactly.
in the shot.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a genre of GIFs, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally. and then the other piece, and tell me if I'm getting ahead of it, is he actually stops in front of the house.
Because he knows their address.
He knows their address. He knows it well. And then, he essentially walks into the house. Yep. And he starts walking around. He goes to the bathroom. He's looking in the kid's house. You're like, this is crazy.
Yep.
He sits down to watch a football game.
Have a beer.
And then all of a sudden they come in. And so the family walks in and he's like there. And then they see him and you're ready to be like, what the fuck are you doing here, Si? And they're like, hey, Si.
Hey, Uncle Si.
Exactly. And
then you realize it's yet another fantasy.
It's a fantasy.
And he jumps right back to he's back in the car just staring at the house.
Fantasizing about being part of a family.
Yeah. And, this is a big part of Si's. We're realizing like he's trying to live this perfect idea of a family through these images. And that's, again, it's pretty, hammer on the nail pretty hard, so we get it. But because Robin Williams is playing this character so earnestly, and he is a character, we haven't talked much about this, where he clearly struggles to emotionally connect to people, right? Like he tries to connect with every single one of his customers, but as we learn at this lunch where we meet his boss played by Gary Cole, who we all might know from he's done Office Space, I think, at this point.
That's right, Office Space.
Yeah, he's playing that role pretty much again, but he's a bigger asshole here even.
He plays a good boss asshole.
Yeah.
He plays the mafia guy or the hitman in A Simple Plan, which I watched recently. Yeah. Like he's been in a lot. Once you see him, he's a character.
He's that guy.
You'll know.
Yeah. And so at this lunch where he's imagining he's part of their Christmas, Si's imagining part of his Christmas, Bill inserts himself and it interrupts, and he quickly tucks the photo under his lunch. Yeah. And he says, "Can I talk to you?" In that same way, like you're like, "Oh God, am I gonna have to come in on the weekends?" kind of talk. And what's great is, he's so mean to him instantly. He's like telling him like, "So some people have been talking, and he's talking about how he's making customers uncomfortable by trying to connect with them."
Yeah.
And he literally says to him, "You have to realize your place." What does he call him? Does he call him, take a look at your place on the food chain, is exactly what he says.
Exactly.
And he's trying to tell him, it's like, this effort at connecting is not what you're supposed to do. These are not your customers as you described in Si. These are the customers of Save Mart, right?
It's interesting too, because you do a really good job breaking this down with like transactional and relationships.
Yeah.
And, the 90s and the 2000s were kind of like we lived through the rise of the Costcos, of the Sam's Club, of the Walmarts, of the Targets, of the gigantic box storification of the U.S. Like there's still nothing like that in Italy. There's a couple, but like it is unique how big these box stores are and how much they're trying to be all encompassing to the consumer.
Right.
Vertical, whatever integration chain.
Vertical. Jeez, look at your corporate speak, Jim.
Yes. I don't even know if it's right. It's probably
you're a businessman.
Wrong. It's probably wrong. But you know what I mean? Like this is a moment where that's starting to happen. Have you ever seen that movie Career Opportunities?
No.
With Frank Whaley and the woman who is really attractive, and she is in a lot of films. There she is.
Oh, Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, I know this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was for me the first time I ever saw a box store.
Oh, right.
Target. That was filmed in the Target in '91. So from like the '90s through, we start to see that box store like rise.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how this kind of now
and like Blockbuster gets overtaken.
Culture.
I mean, think about like the early 80s video stores that we got to go to with their little closets where the porn was.
Exactly. Right? And then, you start to get the, chains, that's fine. But like box stores are like chains on steroids.
They totally are. But they all got eviscerated by Amazon about, 10 years later.
It's interesting, right? Like now in like 2015, people are like, oh, I'm going to shop online for life.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like this is deep in that moment and that culture that you were talking about.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Before I threw you off.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Because it's the thing that's one of the more interesting moments
on the
cuddle couch. Well, the cuddle couch is a reference to Jim's former life as the director of a educational tech group,
DTLT,
and they would in the University of Mary Washington, and they did a proto podcast at the time.
Yeah.
And they always did it on the
DTLT Today.
And it was the cuddle couch.
It was done on a couch like this called the cuddle couch.
Which Martha Burtis did not like.
Did not appreciate
that name.
Do you appreciate it?
Oh, I'm cuddling quite handsomely.
Great. Always handsomely with you.
So one of the interesting things is so he's getting grilled for being personable. And you can see this idea is part of this culture of I'm here to be serviced, not engaged. And so an example of this is, Cy is coming back from this meeting with Bill after his lunch where he chides him for also taking an extra half hour.
Exactly.
It's what the hell are you still doing here? Meanwhile, he's in words before that, he's saying go on vacation. You have a lot of days.
True.
And then he's like, what are you still doing in here? Anyway, I'm fantasizing about the Yorkins. And I get to run into Daddy Yorkin, Will, who's struggling with something with a Mac, and
which is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Does this work with Mac?
Yeah. Right. This thing, it's perfect.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. It says PC all over it, right?
But another example of how those stores did everything.
Yeah.
They were actually selling computers. They were selling it all.
Yep. Not Macintoshes though at that time.
No, it was all PCs.
No.
I wanted to buy those CRTs. I looked at them. I'm like, I need them.
Yeah, that's true. And so he tries to engage Will and says, I'm Cy. Oh, and he's like, oh yeah, Cy the photo guy. Because Cy, we forgot to mention, there was one extra picture when Nina was dropping her photos off, and he tried to take a picture of her, and she's like, no. So he takes a selfie, which is also awesome because it's like a proto selfie of the era.
Totally, yeah.
Where you have to take a physical box camera, move it around, and still be able to hit the shutter, which is really hard. And so anyway, he does that, and so his photo gets mixed up, and so Cy as a person is introduced to Will the night before when they're looking through the photos, and he's like, "Oh, Cy, the photo guy," and he's like, "Yeah, but can you find someone to help me with my Mac?" And so Cy does that immediately. He picks up a phone. It's like, aisle 5, need help,
Yeah.
But he can't help himself but try to engage with him still.
And he says, you're a really lucky man. You have a great family.
And he's like, yeah.
And that's when we know that, Will is a little bit detached and there's something going on.
Right. But he's also, I don't know, I think it's kind of normal to not want to talk with the photo guy about your family.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Fair, Michael, fair.
Okay, thank you.
Firm and fair.
So, this is the beginning of, I guess, where we kind of talked about, I think it's soon after we see him going to the house. So we've already seen that, or that happens right after this encounter with Will.
Yeah.
And
the other piece is when he goes to...
Oh, right.
Because what he learns there is Will, the son, comes up to Cy and is like, oh, actually, he overhears it.
Oh, right. It is
with
this
the
moment.
Toy.
No. He runs. So he runs into Will, and then he also runs into Jake, and Jake has this toy, and it's like this Evangeline figurine, this science fiction cool action figure.
That's right.
And Will's immediately like, no more toys. And it's like,
yeah, we're not getting any toys.
Yeah.
And then so he says, do you want me to put this back for you? And he takes the toy, knowing that Jake really wanted it.
Right.
And that brings us to the first, I think, they're all kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But this is probably the beginning of...
Real creepy. True, creepy tree houses, they used to say in ed tech.
Creepy treehouse for sure. Treehouse for sure. Basically, Jake is actually playing soccer, and he's taking a shot on goal. And as he's standing in line to do that,
and he misses, Jim. He does not make his shot.
Yeah, it gets blocked. He's not that good.
No.
But in the stands, the only person in the stands is Cy.
Right.
Cy is cheering him on. Good job, hey, Jake. And Jake's like, what? And then he takes it. The coach kind of chews him out. That's not a good shot. You got to try harder.
Right.
As the practice finishes, he goes over to get his bike. Down comes Cy, and Cy's like, I don't think the coach was very nice to you. I think he could have been more supportive. Do you want me to talk to him? And Jake's like, no, everything's fine. And at that point, the coach is like, Jake, are you all right?
Yeah.
Because there's this man accosting this boy, which, as you said, coaches should do.
A coach should do. But, Jake says, no, I'm fine. And the coach just walks away.
The coach go get a drink.
There's no way that's okay now. There's absolutely no freaking way. Like, that coach needs to walk up and say, who are you, sir? Yeah. What do you do? How do you know this boy? Do Mr. and Mrs. Yorkin know that you're talking to their son? Like, that's shit that would go down now.
That's now. 22,
yeah, it's close enough to the 90s and the 80s where adults don't give a fuck about kids, ultimately. Except for saying, you're wrong, kid. You missed that shot. You got to try harder.
Yeah, exactly. Yelling at him. So anyway, they start walking. Jake is walking his bike. Cy is talking to him, and then Cy says, hey, I have a present for you.
No, but before that, he's telling stories about his upbringing, about like how he did not have a nice family. We get a little, this is the first glimpse that we get into Cy's past.
I don't remember that. Tell me.
He talked about, let me find it. He talked about, it's soccer practice here. I have this. Yeah, he tells stories of his dad no, that's Jake. No, he tells stories about being sick as a kid, and he wasn't popular, and he broke his collarbone, falling out from a tree. And so he just talks about being struggled. He doesn't talk about his parents.
Exactly.
Cy doesn't, no.
So he basically trying to kind of connect with Jake by saying, hey, I was kind of a loser like you.
I couldn't hit a soccer goal.
Exactly. I was like this. So anyway, they walk over, and then he says, hey, I brought you a present, yeah. Cy says to Jake. He pulls out that Evangeline.
Yeah, that figure, yeah.
Action figure. Jake sees it. Immediately he's like, oh, cool. But then he's like, no, I can't take this
Which
from
is
you.
Smart of him.
Right?
Well-trained kid.
Okay. So, at this point in the movie, are you empathetic with Cy?
I mean, this is the big part of this story. So, he's presented as this character has a very pathetic life, ultimately.
Yes.
He struggles, tries every customer that comes up to him, he tries to engage with one way or another, and they want mostly, for the most part, none of it.
Nothing. And
we've seen the red flag with the photos on the wall very early in the film.
Yeah.
But at some point, we're just kind of like, no, that's not good at all. It's really antisocial behavior. But this one is a bright red line where you really, really have no business talking to anybody's kid unless their parents know about it.
Yeah, like kind of following them, stalking them.
Right, but a child especially, offering them gifts, trying to learn, and we didn't mention it, but he basically, through that story of telling about his childhood, he talks about how his dad works all the time and it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So he's really, basically, he's grooming the kid, Jake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this is, if I don't know if this is right, and this is what I want to ask you. Like, this is the first flag where, Cy is a big creep.
Yeah.
And we need to be careful of Cy.
Yeah.
Cy is not to be trusted. Before we were kind of like, well, Cy's lonely.
Yeah.
Maybe Cy has some problems with all these pictures that he's taking. That's creepy. Of stealing pictures of the family. Like, even that's super creepy.
Totally.
But now you're kind of stalking children.
Right.
Super creepy.
Super creepy. And then he does it again the next day with Nina, where he sees... So we get a sense that the big box store is actually connected to a mall. It's never, explicitly shown, exterior. Yeah. There's no exteriors in this movie that establishes space. Like, we see... Robin Williams leaving at night, and it's this garish green light, and there's a few other images of exteriors. I mean, obviously we see them in the park, but of the places that he works, we don't.
Yeah, you're right.
But so we get a sense that it's connected to a mall, which is not unusual, even though the big box store's like, fuck you, mall, I'm taking over your space.
They ultimately do, right?
And so Nina's always shopping, and he sees her at a distance because he's getting his lunch at probably like the concession stands in the malls. Some of those are good. Right? Food courts can be great. Great one in Brooklyn.
There was an Orange Julius.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's very 90s.
Yeah.
So it is 2002. Anyway, and he had earlier glimpsed a book, a Deepak Chopra book.
Yeah, something, The Path to Love?
Yeah. And so he notices that, and he starts to read it, but he has it on him. And so he notices her, and he tries to like bump into her. She's on the phone. And meanwhile, this is important too, because she's talking about something's going on with Will.
Yeah. Will is emotionally unavailable. Will
neglectful is actually, I think is the specific word. And a neglectful father.
Exactly. On top of that.
Yeah. And so he tries to bump into her. He catches her eye, but she's like involved in this phone call, but he does it again. He does it like a double walk back in front of her. So she hangs up on her. It's like, I gotta go. And,
I can't talk right now. This creep is not leaving me alone.
And so she brushes him off pretty successfully, and she walks away. And then he pulls out the Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's hooked.
Yeah, I mean,
what a sensitive man.
Exactly. And he's obviously trying to find path to love too.
Nope.
And he talks to her about a particular quote.
Yeah, that's stupid, actually.
Yeah, the quote, well, I don't even remember what the quote
is. The things we fear the most have already happened to us. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, exactly. One of the weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of probably Chopra and the movie. But anyway, like, she connects with him. Like, she lights up.
Yeah.
And she's like, Sai's just not the photo guy.
Yeah.
Sai is a guy.
And he shares a photo of his mother with her, too.
That's right. And that's great. There's this, and I've seen this before. He's earlier in the film, he's at a kind of a flea market.
Yeah.
And people are just selling old photos.
Right.
And so he picks one out, buys it, and then he shops that around as his mother.
Yeah. And it's literally like this generic photo of a woman that you would see in like a 50s high school yearbook or college yearbook or something. She's got like the look of someone who's clearly been photographed the same way a million times, by professional photographers.
And I have to say, there's a real moment.
And it's of course black and white, of course, because he's the monochromatic single man.
Absolutely. And there are moments in this film where their discussion of photos and the discussion of how photos are our ability to try and staunch time and prevent it from moving on, and like the idea of that, like, are powerful. Yeah. There's some really great like ideas about the family and the photo and what we're trying to capture and these moments of time which we're trying to preserve. But, again, it gets very essayistic. You got to be careful. Like It becomes almost like a thesis. Right?
Yeah.
So
this leads to what's really important is Sai ends up getting fired because he gets busted for the counts being off.
I love that.
Yeah, Sai, we're going to have to talk about the counts. Exactly. So Bill's like, what the fuck's going on? The numbers aren't adding up, the count on the machine versus the tally in the register, if you will, lack of a better description.
Exactly.
And he fires him on the spot.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, and
it's like, you're fired.
Yeah, it's like, get your shit. No, it's like, don't go postal on me, he basically says. And he's like, I would never do that. He's really defensive, actually, in this moment, because it's like, I would never do that. I care too much about the work. Yeah. And he's like, but you have 1 week. He's like, you can finish the week.
And there is a moment there where he basically, the boss says to him, I have a family.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the fall for this.
Right. Because he knows actually he will get busted by corporate.
Yeah.
And he's right. Like it's very true. And it shows his family, of course, in pictures on his desk too.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes up again. But he's basically saying, like, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah,
You're on your own. You did this. Yeah. I know it. You're gone.
And he tried to go, It didn't work. And so he gets fired, and this is really important because Nina returns and post this interaction in the mall. she's actually really, inviting.
She's like,
of,
hey, Cy,
how's it going?
How are you doing?
And it's like, guess what Jake's got?
Exactly.
And he's got this disposable camera that back in the early scene in the film, he had said, oh, for your birthday, because he knows about the birthday. He's like, I saw it was your 9th birthday, because he's like, of course, crawling through all the photos. And he says, well, did you know a birthday boy gets a free disposable camera?
Yeah.
Which Bill said, what the fuck were you doing giving out a free camera?
And that's a great piece of it. It's like everything you do as an employee in this box store is known.
Yeah.
Like you have no.
And we see multiple times Bill spying on Cy through the security cameras.
Yeah.
Like that surveillance culture in this corporate space is really gross.
Yeah, it's true. And that's one of the things I like about the film.
Yeah. It's true. It's important. And so they see Cy really upset, and they're like, you okay? And he's like, he brushes them off successfully, but he suddenly becomes transactional finally.
Yeah, he does.
He's finally doing his job right, Jim.
It took him to get fired to figure out how to do his job.
Yeah, right. And so, but this becomes a really important moment because he develops these pictures. He does not make an extra set for himself. And he sits on the floor weeping as he's looking through these photos because back to his description of something that makes real photos, like the Band-Aid and the man at the gas station, he's looking through Jake's photos, and they're all of just objects that are disposable. They're not important photos. There's not a single like, oh, it's my parents. He didn't take any photos of people, and it's just all stuff that a kid might think is cool. So Cy is feeling this real emotional connection, and I think to, and I think it's. I mean, I didn't notice that until I was starting to write about it. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like he's seeing inside. It's like, this is my kid. He gets me. Yeah.
And in Cy, again, this is Cy, the Cy who essentially stalked this kid.
Yep.
And so you can read this in a couple of ways, but yeah, there is this real connection.
Yeah.
He breaks the camera, he pulls it out, and then ultimately, finally, I think, you don't know. And there's that sense. In fact, I feel really bad when Cy blows them off.
Yeah.
Because Cy had been so attached to them, but now that he's being, fired, you really feel like he's completely unmoored.
Right.
Like he's got nothing.
But this is where this is like a plot moment that is to serve a purpose that doesn't seem realistic. But this leads to Cy going into like detective mode suddenly.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's something wrong with this family. That character. And he's probably looked at, so it's not surprising that he could find this picture quickly because he probably knows every photo very well in his wall of like 200 or 400 photos of the Yorkins.
Yorkin. Yeah, Yorkin.
Yorkin with the Yorkie. Anyway, so he goes straight to this photo of like a softball, like a company softball picture. And he spies this woman who he has served previously. He's taken her film and developed her photos. And so he heads right back to work that night.
Yeah.
And he finds her photos and looks through them. And they're almost all like selfies. They're pictures of her. And you're like, oh, whatever. And then suddenly what happens?
Will shows up.
Will's
there, smiling. Oh. They're together.
Oh.
Then they're like making out. Next one, she's like half naked. It's like, wait.
Whoa.
Right. And so
Will's
he's got the smoking gun.
He's got a side piece. Yeah.
He does. Exactly.
He does. And so his dissatisfaction was being fulfilled somewhere else.
Exactly. And that was maybe part of his emotional distance.
Yeah, pretty much. And it turns into Cy's like unforgivable act of he had a perfect family.
So what Cy does is he takes one of those photos.
Yep.
From Maya, which is her name, the side piece.
Yep.
Takes it, mixes it in with Jake's photos and Will's family's photos, so that he's leaving for the day. They come pick up the photos, meaning Will's family and
Jake's photos from the disposable camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're driving home. I guess the kid is looking through his photos.
Yeah.
Finds that one
of his dad
with the side piece
making out with Maya,
right?
And says, "Mommy, what's
this?"
We don't see this, of course, but what we do see
is the car it's a great moment.
Yeah.
The car just...
The Mercedes veers off the road. It doesn't flip or anything, but she pulls off on the side of the road, and then we see her looking at the photo.
And then, she's trying.
And Sai's like, fuck yeah!
He's like, I got it, right?
Yeah.
He is nailed.
Yeah.
So
busted!
He follows them home. She goes inside, and she serves dinner as normal.
And this is the beginning of Sai becoming the photographer of the family, because he no longer has access to, getting photos of the family. So he has a camera himself, and he's using it as a zoom lens to look in. Yeah. But immediately what's interesting I noticed is he never takes a photograph. I immediately thought he's going to take pictures immediately, but he's not. And he's using it just to spy.
Yeah.
But it's a camera, and the lens of the camera becomes very important here. It's like, it is part of, ultimately, he's truly spying now.
He's a peeping Tom.
Yeah, exactly. And he's so mad that she's not getting mad.
Exactly. That she's hiding the truth from
hiding from it herself, or hiding that obviously she's hiding that she knows.
And he gets infuriated, he flips out, and he takes off.
And he goes home, and he starts to
scratch
at a photo, but we don't know what yet.
Yeah.
And it's important. But he starts scratching at the photos like, they destroyed my family.
Exactly.
I'm never going to be Uncle Sai. And so this is the beginning of the end, ultimately. And the ending is kind of whack. This is when he goes true psycho, like his antisocial behavior goes to the limit. And so he immediately goes and he takes the camera and he immediately fires off like 24 pictures in a row really quickly. And he races to save Martin. Bill's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, I'm just trying to develop pictures. Bill.
And Bill is a real jerk. He's like, you can't even develop pictures here.
Yeah. And so he gets his way through, and he yells, it's like, what are you telling me I can't develop pictures here? So Bill calms down, and Yossi takes his photos. And immediately Yossi goes to Bill with the photos, because it only takes less than an hour.
Yeah. Doesn't take long. And it's all of a girl playing in a front yard, and it turns out to be Bill's daughter. Yeah. Which is another deeply creepy element of. So you don't think this is creepy?
No, but this one's literally intentional. Like, he knows he's provoking Bill, clearly, right?
It's a threat.
It's totally a threat. No, I agree. And so
are we ready to talk about this problematic nature of this film?
No. Yes.
Are we ready, or is it too soon?
No, because the problem really goes ballistic here.
Okay, so at this point, I find the way the film is made and the way the whole thing is manufactured, you're still completely sympathetic to Sai, to Robin Williams' character.
Quite a bit.
You're kind of like, yeah, he got fired. Fuck the guy who fired him.
Fuck the man.
Exactly.
Save Mart, assholes.
Will cheated. Fuck Will.
Will
he should be
sucks.
Yeah, he should be spying on them, inserting pictures. Like,
Nina needs to know. I'm saving that family.
What if this was Glenn Close? Is my question.
I know, and we talked. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like,
if this was Fatal Attraction.
Yeah. He would be super creep house creepy at this point, and he would be portrayed that way. Like,
he gets a lot of rope.
No, he's not portrayed as a threat.
Not at all.
All the way to this point, even though he's like creeped on Jake at his soccer practice, he's creeped on Nina at the mall. He's literally has all the photos on the wall.
He's his ex-boss's daughter. He's taking pictures of her in the front yard and having them develop.
But he's not seen as a threat. Where
it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is, but the police get involved now because Bill's like, what the motherfucking fuck?
Yeah. Bill's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and they're like, nah. And it's funny, like, when the Detective James, played brilliantly by Eric LaSalle, it's like, so glad. That's all I can think of that. So glad. He didn't have Jerry Curl, but he's still Eric LaSalle.
Yeah, and he's good in it too.
Yeah, he is. And he's like, nah, this is just he's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, it's a provocation.
Don't you worry none. But boy, it escalates soon because he's now following Will around.
He is following Will around, and Will, with his side piece Maya,
with a
has
nice,
decided not
sweet
to
little
take lunch, but to do what?
He's gonna go on a little jaunt with his side piece Maya, and
With
she's
his
got
special
this
lady friend.
sweet little sports car, and they dart off.
They got a Porsche. And they go to the local hotel, maybe 3 or 4 stars.
Yeah.
So they're not lowballing it.
No, not at all.
This isn't Motel City, and they're getting it up.
Yep.
There's no other way to say it.
Nope. And this is where he finally goes off the rails, because this is supposed to be, I guess, technically a horror adjacent film.
Yeah, it's a psychological thriller.
Yeah. But there's
this is a psychological.
There's no blood except for in his dreams he like bleeds out of his eyes, which is really weird.
It's certainly not horror in any way.
No, you're right.
Maybe it's a thriller.
Yeah.
But even that is questionable.
And so the rest of it is this like he like pretends to be room service. He busts into the room and they're basically naked.
Yeah.
And then it gets really fucked up because he's taken a knife from the Save Mart before he leaves after, dropping off his pictures for
like
Bill to see of his daughter.
Rambo knife.
Yeah, Rambo. That's not a knife.
Exactly.
Crocodile Dundee knife. This is a knife. So he's got his Crocodile Dundee knife or Rambo knife. I like the Rambo survival knife. I had one of those.
Exactly. I'm sure
with the compass on the top.
The little the cool. Sewing kit inside.
Yeah, I gotta do my shit here.
I'm sure you did.
My use saw, my wire saw.
Use it to make those pikes so people can fall in.
Yeah. Those things were dull as fuck. They were terrible. Yeah, they were terrible. Anyway. Yeah, so he barges in there, and this is when he basically compels Maya and Will to perform sex acts for him in front of his camera. And
but not even perform them, just freeze frame them.
Yeah,
so they don't really have to do them. They just have to show like they're doing them.
Yeah, right.
So it's almost like tableaus of her engaging in fellatio or some other thing. And he's really now angry.
Yes.
He's yelling.
You do what I say.
Exactly. Don't touch her.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
You got the picture.
Exactly. So he has gone full on psychotic.
Yeah, totally. And he gets busted, which is not surprising.
Okay, but here's my second problem here. So here he is, full on psychotic, in there with a knife at knife point, telling these people to do these sexual acts or at least pose for these sexual acts. He escapes from the room.
Yep.
And then they play it. The film plays it like you don't know exactly what happened. Like, did he harm them? Are they in danger? And the cops are incompetent.
Yeah, because the cops have already like visited Nina and said, you should get your son home, because we don't know where he is yet.
And so ultimately you think the worst. In fact, he doesn't hurt them in any way. He doesn't harm them.
No.
He takes pictures. He never even took pictures of them.
No.
To your point.
Right, because we find that out at the very end.
Find that out at the end. But he just basically wanted to seemingly frame them and make them pay for what they had done and betrayed the family.
Or for betraying the image of the family.
Okay, fair enough.
That's because it's like you had everything basically in his mind. He's saying this.
But still at this point, the way in which they built this film, it's like you're still sympathetic with freaking Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You're still kind of like, oh.
And at the very end, and it's really interesting at the very end, like, which is how the film starts. It starts with Robin Williams, because we didn't say this. It actually starts with Robin Williams in an interrogation room. So he is guilty from the first frame of the film, basically.
Exactly.
So we know he's arrested from the beginning of the movie, which I don't like. I don't think that was necessary at all.
Yeah, they kind of, I mean, I guess it was like smart framing. But
yeah, but what's the foreshadement about? Like, we didn't need it. Anyway,
and you're always hoping, waiting for the worst, but you never get it, which is another weird element. I don't know.
And so Eric LaSalle's character is Detective James. I don't know his last name, so I just keep calling him Detective James. He's doing the the lawyer's not here, but I just want to ask you some questions. And Si's being trying to ask him questions. It's like, do you have a family? You look like a family man. You have a ring. It's like you have kids, I bet. You look like a good dad. I bet you are a good dad and you treat your families. And this turns into this monologue about basically, good parents don't do the things that, bad parents do. And he then proceeds to spell out how bad parents take pictures of you performing acts, like basically implying he was sexually abused and photographed as a child.
Never saying it, but suggesting it.
Yeah. And so again, they're trying to make him a sympathetic character.
Again, like to the very end.
Yeah. And then he asks for his photos finally. And this is when it's revealed he did not take pictures of them performing sexual acts. He was just hitting the shutter over and over because the pictures themselves turn out to be banal photos of objects in his hotel room.
Yeah.
And they're kind of these are the important photos that we've learned in the beginning.
And he's consumed with them, and that's kind of how we fade out of the movie.
And it reminded me, and I was saying this before we started this, like this reminded, and it's kind of cool because we got to like talk about the movie before we did it, because we never get to
do that.
Well, we do it online, but we're like, we got shit to do. Exactly.
Like, we got to get through this.
I get to hold Jim hostage here because, I got shit going on and he's not allowed to leave.
I don't want to leave.
And, so what's interesting though is he wait, what was I saying? He basically has these photos that are the real thing, but he's not. Oh, this is what I was going to say. It was like the end of Psycho in a way. He's this man who's left alone. The final image of him, it's not the penultimate image, but the real final image of him in the movie is of him alone in this very white space. He's back in this safe, white, sterile environment. This is what he knows, and so he's allowed to be his antisocial, like confused self.
Yeah.
And he's allowed to order and arrange his pictures that are the real pictures of nothingness. And it reminded me of Psycho, except for there's no interior monologue. And then it made me think, well, maybe like the monologues we're hearing is that interior monologue at the end. I mean, that's a stretch, but I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I think the other thing is interesting, this film in context with, or in comparison to Fatal Attraction and The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, is both of those female antagonists, I think you would say, get no empathy.
No.
They get
killed.
They get killed. Like
literally.
They are, and in this
one gets shot in the chest and another one gets shoved out a window and
goes
impaled on the picket fence, the perfect white picket fence.
Exactly, like she's impaled, whereas Psy?
You get a sense he's probably gonna, go to a mental ward.
Ward.
No one died, Jim.
I don't know.
No bunnies were killed or boiled.
It's so interesting though, because I think this movie, and I don't know if it did it, intentionally.
I think it's just a decade has passed and they understand mental health better.
Yeah, right. I think it's totally like Psy gets a pass.
Yeah, he does.
I almost think Robin Williams plays the role too well.
Yeah, you're right.
And that you can't really see this character for what he potentially is.
Maybe it's true because we have so much empathy for Robin Williams in real life.
Exactly.
But also in all the characters he ever played.
Yeah.
I mean, the angriest he ever got in Mrs. Doubtfire is when he's like having a classic, fight with his wife, and it's like believable and he's angry and slightly vicious. And the same thing in Good Will Hunting when he says, like, don't talk about my wife or I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, totally.
But they're still recognizable traits of a person who's being distressed in that moment. Yeah. But it quickly turns back to is this incredibly empathetic character that's being played by Robin Williams, who's either fucking Mork, who we love, or the the Fisher King, who's a homeless man that deserves all our attention and love because he's having visions. If you remember that film, which I barely remember.
Yeah, him and not Jeff
Goldblum.
No,
Bridges.
Bridges.
Yeah, and so you're always basically rooting for Robin Williams.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like at the end. I mean, I don't want to discount mental illness and like that, but like there's also some deeper issues here. And maybe the fact that everyone doesn't die a horrible death.
Yeah.
But when you think about the home invaders films we watched up until now.
Right.
And this one seems completely toothless by comparison.
Yeah, yeah. And letting them off the hook, which is going to be like, we're going to go into, this is, in the final image of the film.
Was this a moment of mercy in America?
I mean, it literally ends on him in being embraced by the Yorkin, Corkin family. What a stupid ass last name. The Yorkin family, he's truly Uncle Si. Like it's this, they allow the film to end on his fantasy.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You know?
So he gets what he wants.
What the hell?
Do you get what you want?
Always with Jim Groom, yes. All right, so this is we never get to do this live.
No, it's wonderful.
We got to do it once before during the summer horror at my college.
That was great,
and that was fun.
And we did 2 episodes.
Yeah, we did 2.
We did Jaws and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that was hard.
So this is our 3rd
live.
But
this was not as professional. This is the Cuddle Couch.
This is the Cuddle Couch. And the Cuddle Couch is the best couch.
Yeah, it is. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.